everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Universe Within podcast. This episode of the show is being sponsored by the Amazonian Plant Healing Center at the Temple of the Way of Light. I've worked there for a number of years, so I can really attest to the quality and the overall experience that they provide, working with predominantly ayahuasca and the Shipibo tradition, running 12-day ceremony or 12-day workshops with 6 ceremonies for curanderos or healers, 2 or 3 facilitators, a yoga teacher, and they really just do amazing work. I've seen at this point thousands of people having really life-transforming experiences and coming away with a really deep transformation, a respect, humility, and a knowledge that they've really learned from doing this plant work. And so if anyone is interested, that's always the place I recommend to go and experience this work. So you can find out more information about them at templeofthewayoflight.org. They were delayed in their opening, but they are supposed to open now, I believe in June of 2021. Through the whole pandemic, they've been having to stay closed, but in June they should be opening again. And that leads me to today's guest, who's my buddy Eduardo. And Eduardo and I met working at the Temple of the Way of Light. And he's a really good guy. He's a Portuguese guy, and he's spent the last number of years living and working in Peru, doing a long process of dieting and facilitating and really just delving deeply into this plant work. And I met him where he was working as a facilitator, a similar role that I do there. And he's a really good guy. He's got a really big heart. He's gone very deeply into this work. He's a very humble guy. And I have a lot of trust and respect in him. I think as a facilitator, as a man, as a person, he's a really genuine guy, a really good guy, and he comes to this work from a place of having a really big heart, and that's it's a rare thing where someone is really having a dedication and an open heart and really wanting to help people from a genuine place, not from any sort of self-centered place or place of grandiosity, but just a genuine desire to share the things he's learned. So it was a pleasure talking to him. I hope you guys will get a lot out of this episode, and yeah, I think that's it. So like always, if you're able to support this podcast, that's a really big help. A lot of us who've been doing this work, we've been out of work since the pandemic started, all the way back in March of 2020. And for a lot of us, as we see with the temple, the work may not be opening until June, potentially, of next year. So if you're able to help out financially through the podcast, that's a really big support to keep these shows coming, to allow me to bring on new guests. It's possible to donate via PayPal, direct donation, and then there's the option of Patreon. And Patreon's a really good way. It's a monthly subscription, and there's different tiers you can sign up for, and you get a lot of added benefits by signing up. Things like early access to shows, Q&As, extended interviews, bonus material, and that's a really big help to me and for the show. So there's a link in the show notes through Patreon. And if you're not able to do that, simply going on the YouTube Universe Within podcast homepage and subscribing to the show is a really big help. Turning on the notification bell and liking the video. And then with the audio version, going on Apple Podcasts, also subscribing to the show and leaving a starred rating and a review. So to everyone who has helped out with this show in whatever way you've been able to do that, thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. And without further ado, here is my conversation with Eduardo.
Yeah.
Nice
Cool,
one.
man. Well, it's good to see you. It's good to have you on.
Good to see you too, man. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah.
Well,
So you're coming from Portugal right now, yeah?
yes, live and direct from Portugal. Yeah, it's nice to be here. It's been really healing for me to be here, to be back home.
Mm.
As, I've been traveling constantly for the past 10, 12 years. So it's kind of nice to come back here and to make peace with the land again, and to be here
Yeah.
with my family, friends as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, all in all, it's a blessing to be here.
So you're from Portugal originally, yeah? That's where you were born. That's where you grew up.
Yeah, I was born and raised here. Although my parents are from Cape Verde Islands, which are
Oh wow.
used to be Portuguese colony. So it's an archipelago of 10 islands along the coast of Senegal. So back in the day, my parents traveled to Portugal, and like many other Africans looking for a better life, they traveled here in search of work, better living conditions, and a better future for their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was born here. And, yeah, born here, raised here, went to school here. So I'm kind of Portuguese, but at the same time, I was always like a foreigner
Mm.
because I was not Portuguese. Portuguese, I was. Yeah, so it was always this kind of thing of not really knowing where I belong per se. Although through life I found my ways and my people and fit into society or whatever. But that was a hard time to navigate this thing of like, who am I? I'm not Portuguese, but yet I'm not Cape Verdean as well. So I was kind of in the middle of this. Yeah, I had to balance this identity that I had to do for myself until until I forgot all that, and I was like, okay, I'm not either this or that. I am myself. And I'm a human being, and yeah, that's get it on. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because Portugal's still, I mean, I guess it's changing. There's a lot more Brazilian influx in there now, I guess. But I mean, for a long time, Portugal was a pretty kind of homogenous country. Like everyone was kind of looked the same and similar background and not a lot of immigration, quite closed in a way, Portugal, yeah.
Yes and no. I don't know. As well, this has always been like a place of passage for a lot of people, just like kind of passing by. Because obviously, here in the peninsula, the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal, it's just like it's kind of a square. So there is a lot of people that do this route of all the Camino de Santiago, and then they go up, and then they come down the coast, or they come through Spain and go up the Portuguese coast up to North Spain, and then out again, and then through France and whatever. So it's been always a lot of people coming and going here just to have a feel for it, to check it out, to see what's in here. And a lot of people actually kind of fall in love with the country and stay here. English people, German people,
Yeah.
Belgian people. So it's been always this kind of people coming and going sort of thing, which is good in a way because then you get to meet other people, so other cultures and other people that bring different flavors. Yeah, Brazilian people were here a lot. Obviously, Cape Verdean people from Angola that used to be as well. The Portuguese colonies, Mozambique, Guinea, Timor. So it's funny to have all these different cultures coming in with their flavor of food or music or way of dressing, ways of thinking, ways of seeing. So it's been always an interesting place to absorb this and to observe this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what was your life like growing up? You were most of the time in Portugal, and And then, I mean, how did you get interested in plant medicine originally? Was that something that interested you from a young age, or was something that happened more recent?
Well, you know, it's a question that has two ways of answering. Uh, so first of all, well, if I'm going to put it on the physical plane where we live, yeah, plant medicine found me 4 years ago. When I was, in a bad moment in time in my life. But on the other side of the veil, the plants have found me many years ago. And as we know, on the other side, there's no time or space. So things happen as they happen as we go. I got this information while I was in a journey in Peru, actually, that the plants have been watching over me for a long, long time, even from when I was a kid. My mother, she always kept plants, and as a kid, yeah, I didn't really pay much attention to it. Just that I had to water them sometimes, and I really don't want to do it because I just wanted to play. Mom, yeah, you water the plants, and it turns out that was the exercise. Like, the plants were looking after me while I was watering them. I was like 8, 9, 10. So in one of my ayahuasca visions, I saw myself watering the plants, but through the eyes of the plants that I was watering.
Mm.
So the plants were watching over me while I was watering them. And this, I was like 7, 8, or 9 years old. And also, so on that sense, I can say that, yeah, the plants have been in my life for many, many, many years, or lifetimes even, I don't know. But yeah, when it comes down to the reason why I started to do medicine, that was 4 years ago. That was not too long ago. Because obviously there's like yourself or many other people have been doing 10, 15, 20, 30 years, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, 4 years ago, and it started in a way that I will never forget. I was in a bad place, basically. Psychologically, emotionally, was not in the best places. But to understand, to get here, we actually have to go a little bit back to understand why I got there, actually. So, this is an array of things, chain reaction of situations that dragged out for many years, like since growing up. Obviously, we were living, always at cool and close and in school, but we were not rich. We were like just getting by, sort of thing. We living in the ghetto, where there were many other African families living. It was beautiful in the sense that we kept the culture in there. There was African music playing, there was barbecue African style, there was a lot of dancing, there were birthday parties, there were marriages and baptisms, and in that sense it was beautiful. There was people came together, although we don't have anything, but we have the joy of living, the joy of sharing and caring and giving, and being united in this. We are poor, we don't have hot water in the house, but we have joy in our house. And yeah, that was a really how can I say, a very empowering teaching for me. Of like, okay, it's not about the material or how do you look like or who you are, in the sense of like people nowadays, like who you are. It's very important for people. I'm the doctor, I'm the judge, I'm the professor, I'm this, I'm that. Okay, great, but what is in your heart that makes you be someone special? How do other people feel when they are around you? and that for me, you know, since growing up, it worked, this part of me, this human-hearted, down-to-earth sense of like, okay, we're all the same, we're all in this together, and I cherish that forever. This is one of my major lessons that I take from there. But yeah, then again, also this, you know, poor neighborhoods. There's of course there are the families and the love and all this, but there's also alcohol, drugs, delinquency, and, violent people, and so it was a mix of both. Then again, and yeah, also my father was an alcoholic. So there was a lot of violence at home, day in, day out. It was just like somebody crying. So that carried on for a long time. So as long as I can remember, you know. Of course, I had good times with my dad as well, but there was a lot of pain, which of course, as a kid, I repressed that because, you know, I just wanted to play and be a normal kid. When I went to school, I forgot all about what went down in the house. I just wanted to be a normal kid. I just didn't care about it. But as soon as I get in the house, it was a different mood. It was like completely shut down. And obviously, with years of repressing that, this created something inside of me, like this, you know, this snowball of energy that kept on growing and growing unconsciously. And then, yeah, I grew up and I went through life, obviously. Things happened. I kind of, you know, integrate myself well with people, friends. I started playing music. So I was 14 years old. I started playing music with my best friends back then. And, you know, I could always kind of like numb this feeling of that terror, that violence, that, you know, fear. That was kind of like always there, but I could like somehow I could mask it very well. Yeah, because I had to. I had to just keep going. You know, I just have to keep living. So you just have to do stuff. Yeah, but sure enough, it kind of came back and catch up with me and started to manifest in different areas of my life that I didn't recognize it as such back then. But it kind of like started to, you know, manifest in relationships with women or, you know, with friends. I could never. I just didn't became I became very unbalanced very quickly. I couldn't keep a relationship. I couldn't be trustworthy. I couldn't, you know, I was emotionally violent. I never touched a woman, or, you know, but I was always emotionally like doing, like I said, blackmailing, stuff like this. You know, I wasn't a pure down to earth guy as I learned how to be. Because okay, that part I really worked on me, but the other part then with the violence got this bad person out of me, and I blamed myself for years only to understand that no, man, this was a consequence, you know, of that happening with all those years of violence and abuse. So yeah, don't beat on yourself. Don't not just pat yourself in the back and say, hey, you are here, you are still alive, and you can you know, move through this because so it's life, man. We are not in charge of anything really, but we are in charge in the way that we deal with it. That's the only thing that we can have some sort of control. Like, okay, we can take this as a lesson and move on and try to help other people. And this was I don't know, it was a very big motivation to start working with plant medicine as well.
Mm-hmm. So when you started working with plant medicine, that was in Peru where you started?
I started in Europe actually. I was living in, first I was living in England. Was for 5 years in England, and then I moved to the Netherlands because I had some sort of a relationship there, and then became a little bit more serious, and yeah, just moved there. We're living together, and yeah, just 8 months passed, and then we broke up. It was a shame because I was really in love with this woman, and yeah, so it is that life sometimes brings surprises. So we broke up, but before we broke up, we went to do ayahuasca. Was with this couple of Mestizo shamans, um, which was really good. But yeah, I saw a lot of things that I didn't understand prior about myself, about my relationships, about my family, about everything. I saw it from the spiritual realm, and I was like, whoa! I was so impressed by it. I was so like, wow, is this possible? Can I? I couldn't, I couldn't put it into words even today, because of course one lives a life thinking about things this way and that way and that way, and then something comes up and destroys that. And the fact that it destroys that, it creates something even bigger. So I was really amazed by it. And yeah, so it turns out that then we broke up, and then I was really in a bad shape psychologically. Then again, the problem of not keeping relationships. And then yeah, then I figured I mean, I've done 2 ceremonies, and these 2 ceremonies showed me so much that I was like, okay, there's something here. I don't know where it is. I still don't know what it is, but there is something here. So I had the call to really go to the jungle, and yeah, go in and go deeper in plant medicine. I had no idea. Of course, I said those 2 ceremonies, but that was just like the tip of the iceberg. So yeah, when I went to the jungle for the first time with my diet, I was like, okay, this is something else here. So then there I got revealed all these things that I was saying to you, that the plants were looking after me for a long time. They showed me as well, parts of my life where, I was lonely and thinking about, why am I so alone in this pain? Because I was keeping that pain for myself, because I put a really good mask on. And I went to places in this diet that he showed me my strength in owning this pain for myself. Me as one this pain, like, okay, well, whatever, yeah, I feel it, and to get up there and to fight, so to speak. Because I never went kind of like down with that thing. That thing never kind of like dragged me down. For a little bit, obviously, yeah, okay, but I was always able to stand up and get up there and fight. So she showed me my strength without all the process. Of being in pain, of being confused, a bit depressed, yeah, but then as well there was some substance use, alcohol, and smoke marijuana and other stuff. That didn't help, but still behind all that there was always this core strength that carried me through all that. So when I might have thought to myself that was the wrong path, that was the wrong way, that was bad, no. that was what it took me to get here where I am right now. Although I'm very aware that it's way much more to go along. I mean, the road is long, is super long. But still, that was all part of this. And this is all part of what is there to come. So then again, it's not what happens to you; it's how you deal with it. So I kind of had to kind of learn how to accept things as they come a little bit more after that diet. Just changed me the perspective and everything. And to see the the interconnectedness of everything. Just, the plants and the trees and the animals singing in the jungle and the Icaros and the Maestros and the Pacho and all these synchronicities in the ceremony setting. It just provoked some profound healing in my spirit, in my soul. So yeah, that completely changed my life. And then I got this information that I should, maybe use a little bit of what I do, which is music, and try to help other people more with that in a conscious way. So then I decided to start working with plant medicine, which plant were the one that actually called me in the sense of like, okay, I would like to do more, but I don't know where or who. Luckily, the shaman, the curandero that I was working with at the time was a Mestizo curandero, and so we did the diet there in Peru, and then he does tours as well in Europe, or did. I don't know if he's still doing. And then, so yeah, I finished my diet, and then when I came back to Portugal, I was in Holland, sorry, at the time. Went back to Holland, and he gave me a call. Hey, would you like to come in and play in the ceremony? Like, yeah, why not? Because back at that time, I stopped like working normal jobs. Like I used to work a lot in hotels, restaurants, bars, so like hospitality sort of stuff. But I just had enough for that, so I was busking in the street. That was exactly what I was doing. Because since I came back from the jungle, I refused to go and look for a job, which people call a normal job, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. I refused to do that. So I was just, I was just busking on the street, day in, day out. It's raining, snowing, cold. If you did in Amsterdam, it can be really cold there, January, February, March. So, so when I put that energy onto the world, which was into, as like, this is what I want to do. I want to do music. I want to, this is what I want to do. I don't want to be working for a boss. This came to me, which was then the curandero came to Europe and he gave me a call. And he said, "Hey, would you like to come and play the ceremony?" It's like, yeah, why not? I mean, I'm just I'm just playing on the street anyway. So I went to play the ceremony. Went well. I was, oh, great, man. Would you like to come and play another ceremony? I was like, okay, awesome. Played another ceremony. It was like, wow, this was awesome. It was like one of those ceremonies that was like, and and then he invited me. Would you like to tour Europe with me? I was like, what? Yeah, man. We're gonna fly to Italy next in the next 4 or 5 days. So, and then Italy, Germany, Norway, Spain, Czech Republic, Switzerland. I mean, I was touring Europe for 3.5 years, and I couldn't believe it. So beautiful, man. So beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. And yeah, I'm so thankful for that. Yeah. Really.
And so when I met you, we were working together at the Amazonian Plant Medicine Center, the Temple of the Way of Light, and you had by that point you had also begun working with Shipibo as well. Yeah, was that something that you were interested in, or it just kind of happened that way? But how did you kind of combine or transition from this Mestizo lineage to also working with Shipibo?
Yeah, yeah, that was an interesting shift. it just kind of happened naturally, because obviously, since I started to do medicine, obviously we always heard about, Mestizo, Shipibo, Nawa, Schwar, all these different people that do medicine, and the Shipibo were always in this high regard about from everybody, and obviously there was always there's always this thing there calling me to do ceremony. I do love the Mestizo way also of doing ceremony because they are different. And I love it because it has more instruments, and I'm obviously as a musician, I really like instruments that play, guitars and drums and flutes and rattles and stuff like this, and I really like that. But then when I did a ceremony with a Shipibo, which was in Iquitos, it was like the second time I went to do Iquitos, I think, first or second, I'm not sure. I was like, okay, this is a different ballgame. This is they don't use any instruments, just the voice, the buckle, hopefully their own. That's all they use. Wow, it was like I went to this washing machine, like just the Icaros, I mean everything that I've learned from the Mestizo and every experience that I had, the Mestizo, they're still there solid, like they were huge in terms of transformational events. But this one's with the Shipibo completely shifted everything that I thought I knew about ayahuasca, and actually told me that I don't know a thing about ayahuasca. I still hold it dear, that information in my core, which is I still don't know anything. And that's it, man. That was the shift for me. The knowing that I don't know, because I thought I knew, and that was the biggest mistake. At least in my experience, was to think that you actually know or dominate something. In this case, plant medicine. The world is so vast and so, I don't know, so full of wonders and beauty and traps and light and dark. It's a roller coaster. So after this ceremony with Shipibo, I got this knowledge of like, okay, so when I know for myself that I don't know nothing, then I need to start building stuff. And ceremony after ceremony, then with Shipibo, I started to finding ways to the grid, to the spiritual grid, to the realm, start to more openness, more friendliness, more to be aware that there are entities that come to our aid. There are certain plant diets that can help you with a certain ailment. There's certain even songs for certain situations that need to be addressed as well. Vapor baths, plant healings, flower baths, all these things kind of like it just opened for me a new world of possibilities within the plant medicine that I didn't know up until then. So yeah, no.
And so then you started also dieting with the Shipibo, or you were just assisting in ceremony with that?
With Shipibo, then so after I stopped working with this Mestizo shaman, then I started to do some work on my own in Europe, and then I started to go more to Peru myself, just on my own. And then I started plant diets. I was actually as well by the Ayahuasca Foundation. It's funny that you had Carlos Tanner here.
Yeah.
I did one of those courses. Because then I was working also with a project in the Netherlands to serve plant medicine. But this project was, the person that was ahead of it, he had a serious mindset about plant medicine and not to do ceremony and paid a lot of importance to the people, facilitators, to be really well trained in order to open the center. So yeah, so we went to Peru to the course, which was 2 months, 2 months in the jungle. That up until then was the longest that I stayed in the jungle, diving, and it was the most powerful diets that I ever done.
Mm-hmm.
It was super intense, very unique. And the sort of plants and trees that we diet there just really change your perception about, or it changes my perception about everything that I knew up to that point. Then again, so it was kind of like an upgrade on top of the upgrades that I got the previous months.
Mm-hmm.
And my 2 months of diets, and I fasted for 9 days. You just get so. It's like you rewilding yourself. Yeah. Going back to your true source, true nature, sort of thing. No electronics, no hot water, not a couch, no sugar, no salt, no gas drinks, no alcohol, no. I mean, all these things, they kind of strip you down to the point of like, okay, this is you raw. This is who you are. So this diet's brought me to this place of like, okay, this is who I am without all those things, all this, not only material things, but also, in your mind, because also part of, a very important part of dieting is your mind. Your mind, it can be a blessing or it can just drive you crazy. And then the dieting place, it's just a good place to go crazy as well. But also, I see it that going crazy. It's a very healthy going crazy. I think it's a very part of the healing. Like when you are out there with all these things that you want to grab on for pleasure, like eating too much or holding the phone or watching a movie or going out or whatever. You cannot do these things to satisfy your natural instinct or your sort of like you want to cover, you want to get happiness, instant happiness, but you cannot get those things in the jungle because you cannot run away from that. You cannot run away from yourself, and that's the hardest part of the dieting process. At least for me, I always found it interesting, and that was a really big part of the healing. Being alone with my thoughts, understand how my mind works. It's an interesting thing to observe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, why? I mean, probably a lot of people listening to this, I would imagine some have done dietas, some may be familiar with them, and some may have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. But how would you? I mean, you did a good job of describing kind of some of that process of a dieta, but why would someone want to do a dieta, and what do you think is the? I mean, obviously the process is going to be so different for people, but what are some of the things you've seen in yourself or maybe in other people that someone emerges from that experience? I mean, obviously you would hope to be changed, otherwise you wouldn't do it. So what do you think is happening in that process? Because I mean, that process of a dieta, it's very specific to the Shipibo, obviously, and there's some other groups who work with it too, but it's a very common archetype that you see all over the world in a lot of spiritual or religious practices. This idea of fasting, of isolation, of observing the mind, and then you couple that with working with plants, ingesting this plant, and also, often with this work, we talk about this idea of spirit, of getting in contact with spirit, whether that's a plant spirit or God or something deeper within ourselves. So maybe you can, I know that's kind of a big question, but just kind of talking about that process of dieting and what someone can expect and why they would do that and what they would come out with.
Okay, yeah, it's a good question. Of course, obviously, I can also talk from my experience. Obviously, as I said, a lot of people do diets as well, and they do maybe resonate in these things. But for somebody that never did a diet, why would they do a diet? It's a place of knowing itself, and it's a state of like really being vulnerable, state of openness, and it's also considered a rebellious move. I can assume, like, okay, everybody else is being quiet and paying the bills and going to work and doing 9 to 5 and shutting up. Why do you want to wake up? What are you doing here? So I see it as well as a path of healing for oneself, and it's also a path of healing for the collective, right? Because I think as well as we heal ourselves and raise our vibrations, we are also helping the collective to rise, even if we know it or not. But that's kind of like established that happens. Even with good meditation, you rise in the vibration. So this unified field that you create with doing this type of work, plants, together with meditation, with yoga, with different plant treatments. This is helping people to raise the vibration, and it's a tough process because not a lot of people can do this of being in the jungle. I'm not going to tell you, the first time I went to the jungle, I stayed there for 2 weeks, and it was, the second week was already starting to be too much for me. Because I didn't know, I was new to dieting, so I didn't really knew how to carry myself through the process. Now I know a bit more because I've been there 2 months straight, so it's all in here. You just have to take it as it comes and just go slowly. Don't give it all in one go, in one night, and just let things flow as the jungle flows. That was one thing that really fascinated me, which was the jungle, the spontaneous, the spontaneity of the jungle, if that's a word. Just like getting out of with my tumble and just sitting and just looking at the jungle, just feel the jungle, and just see how just that peace and calm and just birds flying, everything that happens in such a unique timing, and everything has this purpose to be there on that very second. That little bit of wind that blew, that flower and that little petal just fall, and then the ant goes and sits on top of the petal. So for me, it was always that teaching from the inside out, but getting the teaching from the jungle. So because the diet is not only taking the plants and doing having ceremonies and purging, that's obviously a big part of it. But as important is the jungle. The jungle is one big part of the diet process. And she talks to you, talk to me, and say she can really, the trees can talk to you, the little animals can talk to you, the water that is running, look if you have some fish with water close by. They always talk to you too. I mean, it's kind of a guidance. So it's kind of like the jungle comes inside of you, knows what you know, knows what you need. And then through the ayahuasca and with the maestro and to the maestro and the Iquitos, all of these things will come to the tone, will come above. This had happened to me, and I pretty much can say that a lot of people that I've met on diets that the jungle is a big part of the diet as well. People would say, yo, but can you not diet like in Russia or Brazil of course, or in, whatever, Yugoslavia or in America? Of course you can diet anywhere. You can diet wherever, but the Amazon jungle has something that this vortex of energy that is there is nowhere else. Plus the plants that you are ingesting, they are from there. So there's a very special quality to diet in the Amazon jungle, and of course diets are good for healing and for learning, for expanding, ascending. And you can do all these things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You say, oh, I'm going to the jungle to heal. Oh, I'm going to the jungle to learn. Oh, I'm going to go to the jungle because I want to expand. I want to go to the jungle for this and for that. All these things can take place at their own time. Obviously, you always get what you need, because that's just how it is. But you can get all of these things on divine timing. So once you learn, you grow. And learning is, learning is healing. Healing is learning, sort of thing. They're kind of hand in hand together, I feel. And yeah, man, there's just so much more that we can say about that. Obviously, also I encountered a less shiny part of the plants, which was a little bit of you say brujeria, but it was kind of some bad stuff coming at me for quite a long time. And for me, I couldn't believe that. My start, my beginning with plant medicine was so beautiful, so wow, so shiny and and the universe and the trees and plants and ancient Egypt and all this beautiful things. And then from that we went to total darkness, like like me sitting in the ceremony, just I don't know, not fully being able to open, because I was scared of everything that was happening in the ceremony. Dark stuff flying by and things falling from the ceiling and things creeping about, and I couldn't understand why. And so there's also that. After the diet, I managed to clean most of it. Because I've done so many ceremonies, man. I was doing way too many ceremonies. And doesn't matter. For me, to a certain point, I mean, of course, you can clean yourself as much as you like. Hopefully, you don't watch. Do all the prayers, You can sing all the rituals, but in the end, being in a ceremony room like with 20, 30 people every week for months, there's going to be something that's going to linger on you. At least I experienced that firsthand. And still to a point where there was a lot of things happening in me that wasn't me. If you know what I mean. And that's when I prepared to diet again. And so the diet, then again, the diet is this as well. The diet will strip everything that doesn't belong to you, will just eventually be removed if you deliver yourself to the work as well, commit yourself to the work. You know, in every sense of you know, not fantasizing about eating cookies or fantasizing about having sexual relationships. Just being on diet, clean, and when you're fasting, and you're not cheating, you're having, you know, chocolate in your bag that you got from town, or you know, just fully commit. And one thing that I really got from the plants as well was that the more, you know, the more you commit, the more you will get from me. It's like, it's that simple. Simple. And yeah, I believed in it and I went for it. I did 9 days. I was fasting for 9 days. That was the first time when I ever did that. And I got so much for it. So much for it. And then at the end of the last ceremony, the medicine told me, "You understand now?" I was like, wow. It's for real, man. It's really for real. So thankful. So thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You mentioned this idea. I mean, obviously, I think what drew you and what draws so many people to this work is kind of as you described in the beginning, like these experiences that you couldn't even put into words, that really shifted your worldview, shifted your past, your present, how you think of yourself and how you see the world, and you know, these experiences that are really transformational, really profound. And I think some people, when they begin to do this work, like you were describing, sometimes this darkness comes up. You use this word brujeria, which is often translated as like witchcraft or, you know, darkness, dark energy. How would you describe that? Because I think that's a question a lot of people have. I mean, it's, you know, people who begin to do this work, and inevitably that can be something that comes up. I think what a lot of people don't realize is even in these countries where these plants come from, like ayahuasca in Peru, I mean, up until very recently, I would say the majority of people actually looked at this work as witchcraft. I mean, that way of looking at it is still very prevalent. And, you know, there's probably many reasons for that, whether it's Christianity or the demonization of indigenous people who work with plants. But even in that indigenous worldview, they very much also believe in this idea of darkness or witchcraft. So do you think that's just an inevitable part of the experience of life? I mean, in order to have light, you have to have darkness. In order to have a good experience, you have to also know a bad experience. And so do you think that was kind of just part of your process of after having these amazing experiences, you also had to experience the opposite of that in order to kind of overcome that, in a way to find your power? Because so much of this work, you know, we often kind of refer to it as like the hero's journey. And a big part of that hero's journey is going into the cave and overcoming the dragon, which is so fascinating. I think I mentioned this a couple of podcasts, but I was looking at the etymology of the word dragon, and it actually comes from serpent. It means a winged serpent. Uh, but then the etymology of serpent is really fascinating because actually it means light, and it means the light that's reflected back. So even that archetypical hero's journey where you're going and you're slaying the dragon, I mean, literally, it means you're going and you're looking at the light that's reflected back at you.
Man, it's incredible. It's a beautiful paradox.
Yeah. So how would you? Because I think that's something that a lot of people are confused by, and there's so many different ways of looking at that. What does that mean to you? Kind of that idea of whether you call it brujeria or as you described it, darkness, and is that just something that's an inevitable part of everyone's path? You know, the deeper one goes, you know, because you also said this idea, which I think is really important, which is you get out of this work what you put into it. You know, nothing's free, and that's a really important thing. You know, if you just go do a dieta and you pay some money and you don't follow anything and you don't have a good intention, you don't put in the effort,
Yep.
that's what you're going to get out.
You get what you give, man.
But I think, you know, for a lot of people like yourself, when you have a calling and you have this intention to really go in and do that work, inevitably difficulty is going to come up. So again, I know that's kind of a big question, but maybe just talking a bit about that idea of darkness or brujeria, you know, what that means for you and what you've learned from that.
Right. Yeah, man. It's then again, it's one of those questions because you never will know for sure, I guess. But I know what I've been through, and I know what a lot of people have been through. And then it's, I can say that it's been fascinating in a way for me to see this world of first of all of curanderos, healers, maestros, and I just find it curious that there's this war for power sort of thing, like one maestro attacking another one, or another one attacking another one, or the other one wants to be more powerful, and people stealing diets from one another and stealing energy, throwing darts to each other. So that's for me just like off the bat, like one of the most like wow factors as well. It's very curious because for me, with my mind, I couldn't. With my heart, with my heart, I could not understand why, if we are doing this work, why do we want to hurt other people or be more important than other people, or why shall I hurt somebody so that I can ascend to a different stage or whatever. So I always had like a difficulty to deal with that factor, but it is something that happens. And there's this spiritual warfare that's going 24/7. It's never ending. And so I had to make my peace with it. In a way of like, okay, this exists. Yeah, I'll just do the work that I do, and I just follow the path that I feel that I want. What can I say? I have to follow the path that I feel is more in accordance to my spirit, or that resonates more with my vibration. And that's been the path of flight, of helping other people. Like, you know, for me, the medicine has done so many beautiful things, and it's taken me so, take me from a place so deep, put me up here, and just, allowed me to be, just happy and free and spontaneous, and and without a burden in my shoulders, and so clear and so sharp and creative and happy, and I want other people to have this as well. So for me, that idea of doing wrong to other people was always, it didn't fit. It doesn't still, but I understand it now. But when it comes down then to this stuff, and shitanas, whatever, Nothing comes. This is what I feel. Nothing comes started to do. Something's gonna happen. I don't. It's a hard thing to say here because I don't want to also be saying stuff that I'm not 100% sure. But it was given to me this information in the ceremony that somebody was really jealous of me and really didn't want me to succeed. And I was like, succeed? I'm succeeding every day. Every, every day that I get out of bed, I'm succeeding. So what's going on, man? But yeah, then again, jealousy, power, people that they see you shining a big light, they want a piece of it. Shit, you can sing, you can play the guitar, you got charisma. So I was giving this information to the plants. They work in a way that it's incredible. So it was like a line of information coming down my brain, like thinking with the other person's brain. Yeah, I like this, I like that. You have a little bit of life that I want this. I was like, damn. So I just kind of like pushed that thing away and I spoke to my partner. And then the ayahuasca told me that this is actually a being that exists in this universe that is thinking this about. And in order to get that being will send you dark stuff and try to make you paranoid and afraid. And again, for a while it kind of happened. And it's funny because this also brings me back again to my childhood and to my fear, paranoia kind of thing. Are these things anyhow connected? To some extent, I don't know. Why am I supposed to have this feeling again and again and again and again? Am I playing something from previous life, or what's going on? So yeah, this caused me a little bit of paranoia as well because I wasn't sure of what was happening, and all of what I knew was that every time I drink the medicine, 40 minutes later I'm in a place it's like a dark hole that is full of entities that I don't want to see, vibrations that I don't want to have. And I'm cold and I'm shaking and I can't wait for the ceremony to finish. And I cannot have that, not as a facilitator and not as a human being. I cannot be in that thing. And but then again, as you said, this goes through the ages. The witchcraft and and for society as well, people that do stuff that is out of the ordinary, people that work with all these different healing modalities. And you go to the world, to the dark ages even. The ones that live in the woods that do potions and work with natural remedies to other people. Those are the freaky ones, kind of thing. But at the same time, those are the ones who are healing the people. But then depends which road are you taking, right? Because some people take the road to help each other, and other people, take the other road, which is to take from others. And I think that this will be always this eternal war between life and death. They kind of need each other, basically. So that will always be there. On one hand, then again, I feel blessed for it as well. As I said as well, throughout my life when I lost my direction, and I started, taking substances and losing the sense of what's normal and drinking too much and all this type of stuff. So that wasn't bad. That was what it was. So when it comes down to this part of the medicine, but okay, now I had this brilliant phase with a lot of light and love and beauty, and then I have this dark period of like, I don't want this. This is wrong. I don't want this for my life. So at the end of this run, the plants are telling me the same thing. Like, this is not bad. This is not wrong. This is for you to understand that there is also this. So if you want to if you want to keep working with the medicine, you need to see, both sides of the spectrum. And I was like, whoa, all right, okay. This was really tough for me. Like, she was testing me as in, hey, if you can take this, then you can do this too. If you're not going to run away after this, which a lot of people do, then you are fit to do this work. Per se, because then again, there's different ways of doing this work, as in facilitating, as as we did in the retreat in Peru, which is you are the facilitator, but then there are the curanderos, singing the Iquitos and the rounds and all that. Or you can facilitate in a way that I facilitate here in Europe, which is I do my own ceremony. So I've been doing my own ceremony since I left the other management. That's why I went to Peru to learn. And I'll keep on going. I was supposed to be there right now dieting, but obviously the world is on the way it is. So as soon as it opens, I will go again to diet. So yeah, as I was saying, so if there's a difference between facilitating in a way of which you are the space holder, in a way of like you are the bridge between the participants and the maestros, which is great. And then there's the facilitation in the other way, because I don't call myself a maestro, I call myself a space holder or a facilitator, a musician, whatever. Which I do here in Europe, which is then I do my own ceremonies, then I'll sing the bells, and also play guitars and this and that. But it's more focused on shamanic Amazonian work. So so the medicine told me, so I mean, if you didn't run away yet, like, it's because you kind of got it in you to keep on going, because although you've seen a lot of bad stuff, this is only. She always tells me this is the tip of the iceberg. There's always more, there's always more, there's always more. And I always found out to be more and more and more and more. And a part of me is kind of curious, but also with not fear, but like in a very respectful way, like, yo, okay, this is something, let's walk carefully on this path, because it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, those are very human qualities too. You mentioned, these ideas of like jealousy, envy, anger, power. It's, I think sometimes we think about like the world of spirit as something very foreign, but it's also very human too. And these are qualities that everyone experiences. And I think under the effects of these medicines, they can become very exaggerated, very, very heightened as well, and very real. I mean, even outside of that medicine space, I mean, those are very powerful qualities, right? I mean, we probably all have that jealousy, envy, anger, power. They can be very kind of corruptive forces. And yeah. So what has that experience been like for you of more and more stepping into that role of facilitating, of singing, of working on people? What's that been like for you? I mean, it seems like it's been a kind of a gradual process. You've been stepping into that the last few years, but what's that been like, and what have you learned? What are some of the things? Because obviously, working in ceremony with a lot of people, you're learning a lot of things, experiencing people's processes that they go through. I'm sure you see a lot of. I mean, obviously, everyone's process is unique, but I'm sure you see a lot of common archetypes of experiences and things people are working on. And So what's maybe you can talk a little bit about that, of what kind of what you've seen, what you've learned from that experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, man, it's very interesting. Um, like, it's beautiful to see um, um, humanity from a perspective of like we're all the same. Because when you are in a ceremony room and you sit down to have that drink, you're not a teacher, you're not a doctor, you're not a football player, you're not a model, you're not a TV presenter. You are a human being. So it's interesting to do with people on those days. Because, you know, I mean, obviously you're not only serving the medicine as you are facilitating space and getting the treat together. So people will, you know, naturally be more open to you. But it's good to see between themselves as well. To see how people are really humble on that sense. So I've been learning a lot about. I've been learning with other people's learnings because some people, even the ones that get there with a bit of an attitude on Thursday, by Sunday they are a different person and the other one's hugging everybody else. So it's interesting to see this shift on people's perceptions of self and us as a whole, like as in the way that we are all related, you know, by things we feel in our lives, like pain and sorrow, anger, anxiety, depression, and all this stuff. Yeah, we all know that. Most of the people that come to the retreats have experienced some disorder, so we can relate to each other in that sense. So for me, it's been wonderful to observe that, and as well that one thing that I got from all the retreats that I have done, Europe and Peru, whatever, everybody's looking for love. That's the ultimate desire. Not even love of a relationship or whatever. It's love. People are just looking for love, and that's happening everywhere. Everywhere I go, with everybody I speak to, this is the main thing that people are looking for. And you know, for me, what makes me really happy is that they may not find love in those 2 or 3 days, but they will have planted a big seed in there. You know, to some extent, the medicine always shows you the love that you possess inside, but then again, it's when you get out there that you have to manifest that. You have to integrate that and manifest that into flowing, right? But at least they will have planted a big seed over there. So for me, that's one of the most important things to crack people open in a way, plant that seed, close it off, and then follow people. As in, like, you have to, you know, stay in touch with people, email, on the phone sometimes. It's kind of a post, you know, like we do retreat as well. How do you call it now? Post retreat guidance. So when you see that beauty coming, reflecting from other people, at least to me, that gives me a sense of like, wow, yeah, this is a good purpose. You know, this is a good purpose. This is why I do this. I mean, there's nothing more honorable for me to do than to help others. You know, that gives me immense joy. It gives me immense joy to just feel people can change their life in such a short period of time. They can open up and understand that there's more than our worries, there's more than our material desires. There's more than our jobs. There's more than a bad relationship. There's more than a friend that backstabs you. Whatever. There's way more. There's this universal love, universal consciousness that we have to tap into to find our own love. And the plant slowly allows us to do that. And yeah, for me, it's just it's an honor to be part of this process. So yeah, and this is what I get mostly from people that are from the retreats. And then for me, for myself, as a personal role, per se, with the medicine, of course, it's kind of divided. Like as this the facilitator, and this is me as a person that's keep on keeping, because I mean the healing is never done. Some people actually, some guy once just told me like, "Yo man, I mean, how many times have you drank ayahuasca?" I said, "I don't know, man. I just worry, don't keep count." But well over 100, yeah. I was like, probably, yeah. Fuck, man, you should be an angel by now. I was like, no, dude. No. The other way around. Almost the other way around. You'd be more confused even. It was kind of funny because the way he was saying that, it was like, because he had this glow in his eyes looking at me like, yo, man, you're like a saint now. It's like, no, man, no. Because people forget. I mean, of course, I mean, you can drink ayahuasca 1,000 times, 2,000 times. There will always be something else to be addressed. There will be always something else to be refreshed, to be removed, to be added, to be ascended, descended, whatever. This is my teaching that I did a retreat. So on the retreats per se, on the facilitator part of things, well, as I got close encounter with darkness, as I told you, when I was kind of considering, even sometimes to this day, like I don't want this. I don't want this. And the funny thing was always that ayahuasca was always bringing me at the end of each tough night. She always like pat my back like, well done, boy, keep going. I was like, I don't want to keep going. I don't want this, Keep going. She was always saying like, keep going. She never left me, She left me to see those dark things because that was part of my school. That was part of my school. And it was funny as well because she teach me as well, because I was what can I say as well? I had to relearn I have to learn how to live with the medicine diets. So the diet is not only in the diet center. It's when you come out here, I mean, I don't live like before. I don't eat pork. I rarely drink alcohol. Maybe a glass of wine here and there. Maybe I'll drink one Christmas. I don't smoke marijuana. I used to smoke a lot of marijuana. Marijuana was a thing to me, and it still is, and I still regard it as a lovely plant medicine. So in that sense, I will always love it, but I had to learn that I cannot smoke marijuana and do ayahuasca. It doesn't work for me. Although you may say that, like, but the Santo Daime, they use Santa Maria, they smoke the marijuana as well as sacrament on this ceremonies, which I find it fantastic how people can really, drink a good glass of medicine and smoke some marijuana on top. It's just like, wow, you guys are somewhere else. But for me, it doesn't work. So, well, this also brings me to something else, which is, a lot of people are saying, like, for the Shipibo diets, or the Mestizo diet. Some people saying like, oh, you should never smoke marijuana. You should never smoke marijuana. Because marijuana, yeah, it's a beautiful plant, but it's also dark plant, and it has this sticky vibe to it, which is the THC oil. So that the spirit of that stickiness will attract like low vibrational entities or whatnot. I'm like, okay, well, great, good to know, but why then in that culture it's okay to smoke marijuana? And you know what I want to get at? Like, as in, it's different for the same plant as a different point of view from different traditions, basically. So then I start to think to myself, well, more than you cannot do this or you cannot do that. You have to do what works for you. What doesn't work for you doesn't work for you. You know. So I had to learn that marijuana wasn't working for me anymore when I was in ayahuasca, and I guess also some darkness might have come from that as well. I don't know. Could be. It was for a while, maybe for a year. After diets or after retreats, I used to smoke a lot of weed. Because that's just something that I do, that I used to do. And also played in reggae bands, and smoking weed is like the sacrament of the Rasta man. So, so it was always like, oh, just like that moment. Sorry, man, my battery's running low. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, no. You had to fit the part
Sorry.
with the Rasta band. You had to fit the part.
Yeah, I said it hard. Sorry.
Yeah, you had to fit the part by smoking marijuana.
It was just part of the deal, man. It was kind of like, yeah, man, everybody's burning here. So yeah, man. So I had to kind of stop smoking weed, and as I was saying, like the diet is not only at the diet center, so it's the life you live here. So I don't eat pork for a year. I don't drink alcohol, smoke weed, don't take any other substances. I'm careful who I hang out with, what music I listen, what programs do I watch. I don't watch too much television. But now, of course, you're home, so maybe watch more documentaries, podcasts, movies, whatever. But I have to kind of like pretend that I'm on my tumble, but back here in the city. Although I'm kind of lucky that I live quite close to the countryside, so I don't see cars from the other street, trees and plants. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a tumble life I live in. Luckily I can live this type of life. Okay, I don't have to go every day 9 to 5 nowhere. I'm just here. Playing music, learning more Iquitos and melodies, and watching the food and life. And yeah, and trying to stay as clean as possible. So so that will also reflect on the ceremony. So yeah, and that's the part of the facilitator. So now for my personal part of spiritual growth and all, I can say that yeah, it's been wonderful in many senses. Because I mean, then again, I'll repeat myself, as be of service for others is, and it's like the ultimate deal for me, because I wish because once I got past this things of like childhood trauma, anxiety, some fears, some paranoia, and once I got past that phase, then I started to feel the pain the world. That is the pain of the collective. Once the medicine has made me feel like the pain of humanity, the pain of animals, the pain of the atmosphere. That felt so heavy, man. That felt really heavy. I could feel that pain like deep in my core. I could feel that pain. And I guess in there, I signed a contract in there after that. So I think I signed a contract of like, yo, I'm gonna help lift this pain out of you. Pachamama, because she was talking to me, I could really feel it was like she was pleading to me, like, help me. You know, look at all this pain, feel all this pain, look at all the misery people are going through. You know, everything. You need your help. And I think I signed a contract on that man. But yo, I mean, I'm here. It doesn't matter how, I will help you always. Always. And then, you know, if I was conscious already of like not doing pollution or helping the next man or, you know, being helpful at all times or being, you know, standing up for the people, that the ones who cannot speak up for people who cannot. So if I was conscious before, then I became like 100,000 times even more conscious about that need of being of service. Because you know, the ones that work for the other side, they are always in service. So I think the more of us step up to be in service, you know, the more Earth is guarded and guided. Guarded are the human beings, but guarded guarded the Earth and guided the human beings, especially in this time of confusion, you know. And we need to step up in our own ways. Doesn't matter what we do it in our own ways. Everybody's got to put on the work, and I feel that, you know, that this has been allowed. This allowed me to really embody this thing, because before it was just an idea, a concept, or you know, or an intention. You know, because many years ago I thought that, you know, being a rebel was, you know, to get wasted and kick the rubbish bin and sing a couple of punk rock tunes against the system. But what are you doing? Okay, you're doing what you know. That's a start. Great, yes, but so that's why I'll say that, you know, maybe I was doing that before, but unconsciously, and then I turned all that into the conscious. And we start to work on myself, so then I can help others to reach their potential, so that they can also help others that can reach their potential. And this is like, it's a chain event. It just things just start happening and developing and spreading, hopefully. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's interested in doing this work? Someone who maybe they've worked with plant medicine and they feel this call to go deeper, to facilitate, or because I think that's happening more and more. But people are really kind of unsure how to do that, whether that's the path for them. You have any advice to those people, or anything you've kind of picked up along the way? Because I think for all of us, in a way, it's kind of very strange how we came to these paths. I mean, there's certainly not like a concrete path that's laid ahead for someone who wants to do this. But what are there maybe certain qualities in a person that would be conducive to that? I mean, obviously, like having the calling in the first place, and then how does one go about that? Just through drinking, through dieting?
Yeah. Yeah, obviously it works different for everybody, but definitely the call is going to be happening. And if the call is there, then you kind of answer it in a very honest way to ourselves, because there's also a lot of stuff happening, which is um, people are getting with one or two ceremonies they're getting, like, okay, now I'm God, I can see God, I can talk to God, I am God, and I can do this work because the plants have told me that I'm God. I guess patience and perseverance would be the things that I would definitely advise, because I mean, you have, let us say you have a set of, let us say 12 ceremonies. You do 1, 2, 3, 4 ceremonies, and you think you're God and this and that. But I would say, like, no, wait until the 11th ceremony so that you can actually confirm that. And then on the 12th, you make decisions or not. But I just always found so many moving parts, as in, like, nothing is as it seems. So patience in the sense of, like, okay, let the strings flow and let it solidify, and let it, let it marinate, let you feel the call, let you understand what that is, and if it is for you or not, because it's very easy to be mistaken as well. Because obviously the medicine is a beautiful poet, and she gives you beautiful insights in ways that you're like, wow, my God, yes, sure, of course I'm God, I'm gonna change the world. Yes, you are, but be patient to know if you are going on the right path to change your own world first, and then go and help other people change their own world. Because it's very easy to be stuck or lost in this concept of, like, yo, I'm the man, and you stay there, but you don't go deep in there and do the work that makes you be the man, if there is the man. You understand? So it's very important to do your own work deeply, because you cannot run. You cannot run. You can run, but there's no hiding there. It's just like everything is known in spiritual realms. There's no hiding place. So even if you can go out there and fool a couple of people, like, whatever, there's no running from the medicine, from ayahuasca. And if you diet plants and trees, then you will really understand that there's no hiding place here. So my advice would be, like, if somebody wants to do this work, yeah, it's to go there and go as deep and as high and as low and as wide as you can, and explore what's inside of you. It's such a big world inside of us that we have no idea. I mean, I had no idea that this was even possible, to have this depth inside of my being. So hadn't I go to the jungle and really stay there and lose 10 kilos and just focus on the medicine and not eating for days and doing dozens of ceremonies, hadn't I done that, I couldn't come here to Europe and serve other people, you know. Then again, I cannot judge other people. There are plenty of people that are doing medicine all over the world, but yeah, some people go and diet, some people don't diet. My advice is, if you want to serve medicine, diet, because diet is that's when you understand what you were doing and what you are doing and what will you do from now on. it's like a paradigm shift. It's like from day to night, night to day. It's just different things. It happened to me that way, and I have a feeling for the dieters, because then of course there are the dieters and the people that don't diet. The dieters will confirm that the diet's just it's a different ballgame. It just changes everything, and it puts you on the right place of healing because you have the right tools, because you have the information from the plants and the trees. You have received the vibration of the plants because you've been so deep into their realms. So you get the medicine. You get the medicine from the plants and the trees. So once you get the medicine, then you can give the medicine. And by this I'm not saying that other people that don't have diets, they don't have medicine. They have medicine, of course. A clean heart and love in your heart and a good positive attitude and sense of wanting to help other people is medicine. Pure medicine. But if on top of that you go and get the medicine from the plants and the trees on top of all that, then you are on the good path to be a curandero or a healer. That's what I really think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So what's life like for you now? You're back in Europe and you started running ceremonies there?
Yes. I did ceremonies until, so we are in December now. My last one was in September, and then October I went to the Netherlands as well. So, but now November, December, yeah, as you know, I just became a father now, so I'm kind of like, this is my ceremony right here, right now, just being home. And for a moment, focusing on my family. And as well, all the situation that's going on, lockdowns and this and that. I don't want to have that stress for a moment. Let me just focus on my own family for a moment. And yeah, then we'll see, because I think it's also important to work on this time. Because, yeah, people are going crazy, man. People are losing their minds because this is just like, people, I mean, this has never happened before. If it did, it was like many, many, many years ago. So people that are alive in this generation, I don't remember being locked in the house, not being able to travel, to fly. I don't remember this. And a lot of people don't remember this. So this is new. So people are forced to be at home right now, and, not being able to socialize or do whatever they want, or to go whatever they want, or to make their own money. People's liberties and survival is depending on this. A lot of businesses have been closed, obviously, so there's a lot of it's a difficult time for many families. So it's a time that more than ever, like workers, people that work with a good purpose, with a good heart, should step up and help other people. Because the dark side is doing a good job right now, and we can see it daily. So yeah, but just for me at the moment, it's time to be at home with my family for a moment. But can stand still for long, so probably gonna go and diet as soon as the borders are open. And after that, I'm just gonna jump out there again and just keep going, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
One question I always like to ask is what do you think these plants are trying to teach us? What do you think these plants are trying to teach humans?
Teach us as a whole. Then again, teaching us about love. Love, that's the ultimate goal of the plants. It's the ultimate goal for the plants. That's all they're doing. All the things they are doing, showing, and giving, it's love. It's for us to understand this. That we came from love. We are love, and it's pure form. Although, also, I mean, we live in our individual selves, but we are not alone. We are one. And what they want us to do is to rejoice with that knowledge, and to understand that in this unity and this oneness, we will find that love that we're looking for. But reminding us that first we have to connect to that love inside of ourselves, so that then we can connect with the rest of the world. And just be, man. Just be good with yourself and others. That's all that comes to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, well, great, brother. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I know you've got a family to get back to, but anything you'd like to talk about?
Can I play a song?
Yeah, man, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just feel that of course there's always so much more to be said, right?
Yeah.
But after you get down to the thing that this love, it's the ultimate goal, the ultimate destination. Then the rest is just doesn't get any it doesn't get any bigger than this, maybe more special than this. But this is it, man. Love, 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 love.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to end it.
Yeah. I'm gonna play a song. I really love this song. I always play this one in ceremonies. This is from a really well-known Peruvian medicine musician. His name is Artur Mena. I don't know if you know him, but if you don't, just look him up. Artur Mena. Vuela como el condor. And always, when I get songs, I always just try to do my own thing. It's like, it is his song, but then I kind of made it mine sort of thing, as in like, tweaks and beats over there. So let us enjoy that, yeah? la vida. Si sabes vivir, si sabes, si sabes vivir, si sabes. Comanda ayahuasca, todo con ayahuasca, todo cambiará. De nada sirve que tengas riqueza si tu alma está llena de tristeza. Hoy puedes cambiar abre tu corazón, que fluye el amor, todo cambiará. Con ayahuasca, todo cambiará.
That was great, man. Thank you.
Thanks, man. This was the short version of it, but yeah. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Who did you say that was by again?
Artur Mena.
Arturo Bernard.
Artur Mena. I'll send you a link from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was great, brother. If people want to get in touch with you, if they're interested in maybe doing ceremony with you sometime or reaching out to you about anything, what's the best way for them to do that?
Sure. I can or I can even give you my email address, or you can also check my musician page, and from there you can send me a message there, and then I'll do things outside of Facebook, I prefer. You can check my musician page, which is @z frequency. Hopefully you can put a link together with this. From there you can drop me a message, and then you can go forward from there.
Yeah, man. I'll put those links in the show notes, and yeah, I mean, I've already recommended a couple people to you, and you know, we've only known each other a short time. It's only been the last year we've been working together, and then the pandemic. So, but you're a really good guy, man. I've got a lot of respect for you, and you genuinely, when you say you have a desire to help people, I really see that. And you know, a lot of people say that, but it's with you, I really see it comes from a place deep within your heart. And so I really respect you. And I think people, if they sit in ceremony with you, they're in good hands, and you've
Thanks, man.
got a good
Thanks a
soul.
lot.
So I know it's crazy times, but I hope, I hope things begin to open a little bit and you get to work. And I hope we get to see each other again, whether it's at the temple or sometime in Europe, because it's been a pleasure working with you and getting to know you. So,
Sure, man. Likewise, brother.
yeah.
Likewise, man. Always so much to learn.
Yeah. And congratulations on being a father, man. I know it's a big life change.
It's a different role now. It's a different story now. But it's beautiful, man. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So many beautiful things with it. So, what a blessing. It's about time.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully someday you come and meet him.
I'd love to, man. I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. So,
Well, thanks so much, Eduardo. It's been a pleasure, my friend, and keep in touch. And anything that comes, let me know, and I'll let you know when we release the show. But probably next week sometime. And I wish you all the best.
thank you, my brother. Thank you so much, man. Keep up the good work, man.
Yeah, you
Really
too.
good. Thank you so much, man. Blessings.
All right, everybody, that is it. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Eduardo. He's a really good guy. I like him a lot. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we haven't seen each other in a long time, but he seems like he's doing well in Portugal. He just started a new family, and I hope he's able to get back to work as soon as possible, whether that's in Europe or back here in Peru. So that's it for this week's show. If you're able to support the show through donation, that's a really big help. It's possible via PayPal, through direct donation, and also Patreon. Patreon is really nice in that it gives you a lot of added benefits. So you give and you also receive something back. Early access to shows, extended interviews, bonus material, Q&As. So that's a really nice way to support the show. If you're not able to do that, if you can go on the YouTube page, Universe Within Podcast homepage, and subscribe to the show, turn on the notification bells, and like the video, that's a really big help. And with the audio version, going on Apple Podcasts, subscribing, and leaving a starred rating and a review. I've got some good guests coming up. I think the next show is going to be with my friend Brian James, who's a yoga teacher who I've also worked with. He has a lot of experience with plant medicine. He's a musician and just a really interesting guy. I really respect how he views yoga and this plant work, so that should be a really good conversation. And then the following week, I'm not sure. And then the week after that, hopefully I have Dennis McKenna coming in, who's really one of the pioneers of this work. We've been in contact, and I think he's going to come on around mid-January. So that should be a really good interview as well. So thank you all for the support. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next episode.